Very good morning to all of you. Today I'm going to discuss another important essay on 1911-12 SLST, that is Dream Children, a Reverie. Actually, in my previous videos that I did upload just recently, and some of them had sent me message personally, so they are fully satisfied, and I thank to all of them. At the same time, they also asked me, sir, please use much more in Bengali rather than using English. But I would like to say them that you all are preparing for SLST 9, 10 and 11, 12. Definitely, according to your demand, I can easily speak in Bengali rather than English. But I prefer to speak in English because after all, you all are graduated, master of arts, post graduated. So it is not expected from you that you people will demand speaking in English, speaking in Bengali rather than others language. Okay, so I'll try to maintain your demand, but don't expect much more because I will use 50% English, 50% Bengali, so that it would be very easy to you understanding. Okay, so first of all I would like to give a basic summary. Basic summary ki matlab just a gist form or the introduction portion of Dream Chiller, because if you look in this year, how, I mean, what sort of question, even because already madrasa and our West Bengal board, they've completely changed the whole syllabus. So we should prefer the basic question to advanced question. Like basic questions means introduction. So now first discuss who was the author, that is Charles Lamb. If you look Charles Lamb, you will understand. Literally, he was an author. Literally, he was a romantic poet. But how did he suffer? How did he struggle? Because when he was at the age of 13, 14, 15, he closely watched, he closely looked how he lost one after another his family members. Even since his childhood, he was suffering tremoring. At the same time, he lost his beloved because he found that his lovable beloved married to someone, and he was a bachelor. And somehow a pathetic life he had to face. Please note down who was the close friend of the author Charles Lamb. Very important, maybe this question will be asked. Actually, S.T. Coleridge was his best friend in his entire life. And now first let me tell about the biography, about the birthplace, about the date, and important works of Charles Lamb. Actually, Charles Lamb was a romantic poet and essayist that I had already told you. And now please note down that Charles Lamb was born in 1775 in London. 1775 in London he was born. And where did he die? This question is also important, because when you will know the birthplace of someone, definitely you should know where did he die and in which year he did die. He died in the year 1834 in London. These two questions, these two information rather, you should keep in mind. Next, very important, note down, very important works of Charles Lamb. Actually, in his entire life, he did publish, he did compose, he did write one after another important essays, poems, and others literatures. But the two important figures that make him that make him popular all over the world, that is Essays of Elia, that was published in the year 1823, and Tales from Shakespeare. This was a great creation of him, and it was an essay telling about the children. So this is all about uh, Charles Lamb. I think you have got my point, what point I mean to say. And very important question that today we all have been going to discuss dream children in Reverie. Because already I told to all of my guys, before reading any text, it may be short story, it may be essay, it may be novels, it may be any sort of genre. First, you ask the question, why should you read this text? What is the occasion? What is the purpose behind reading this text? Because when you will get know that this is the purpose, that is why our author Charles Lamb did write this essay. So you will definitely get better understanding of the text. Actually, as I did already tell you that Charles Lamb was suffering because of his personal life, because of his personal loss, because of his stammering, and the other cases. So definitely this essay was his personal loss, personal suffering, personal pain, personal disgusting feelings towards his beloved, towards his family death. And very important to say, in order to get relaxed, in order to forget pain, he had written dream children. And at the same time, he was a bachelor. And look in this text what is given. In order to forget his pain, he had written this text, and he is trying to somehow pretend that he is a father of someone. He wants a big family where he'll find his wife, where he'll find his mother, his grandson, and others. But the thing is that the theme is that vision versus reality. Vision versus reality means, because if you look the very first 2, 3, 4, 5 stanza or the introduction portion, the main body of the portion, you'll find that in his imagination he is trying to pretend, or he is trying to becoming a father. But when his imagination is lost, faded, and when he will come into reality, then he found no, he was a bachelor, he has no imaginary children, he is a bachelor, he is suffering from the pain. So try to understand. If you try to discuss the theme portion, what are the themes in this essay, you will find 4, 5, 6 important key points. As I did already told, that is vision versus reality. You people will find a struggle, a sum of struggle. Vision, that is imagination, that is romantic thought, versus reality. Next, humor and pathos. Definitely, this, if you minutely follow this text, you'll find humor and pathos. Next, escapism. Very important feature. What is escapism? Because if you look the text, তোমরা নিশ্চয়ই দেখতে পাবে যে এখানে আমাদের যিনি অথর চার্লস ল্যাম্ব, তিনি তার এই সমস্যাগুলো থেকে বেরিয়ে আসার জন্য তিনি হয়তো টেক্সটটা লিখেছেন, কিন্তু অ্যাট দ্য সেম টাইম তিনি যখন তার when he will come into his reality, then somehow he is trying to get back his pain. তো এসকেপিজম, বেরিয়ে আসা, তার সমস্যা থেকে বেরিয়ে এসে আবার তিনি তার সেন্ট্রাল পয়েন্টে ফিরে আসা, দিস ইজ নোন অ্যাজ escapism. Next, nostalgia. Definitely throughout the text, if we definitely after at the end of the video I will discuss the summary, and when you will get know the summary, you will understand what is nostalgia. Nostalgia means imagination. Nostalgia means something that you try to imagine, because from the beginning, from the very first line, you'll find that how the little children love to listen to hear some stories like fairy tales, some legends, some of grandfather, grandma, and others. So from the very beginning line, from the very introduction of the essay, you'll find the nostalgia feelings. Next, portrayal of nature. So what is portrayal of nature? Portrayal of nature means in this essay, that is the description of the text will be nature, because after all this is a romantic essay, and you know each and every romantic period, it may be the romantic poet, it may be romantic essayist, whatever it is, if they belong to romantic period, they always prefer to using natural description rather than using scientific facts, scientific truth, scientific law, scientific condition, rules, regulation, and others. So this is all about the themes. And now let me tell what is the technique used by Charles Lamb in his essay Dream Children, a Reverie. Actually, this is known as stream of consciousness. Just keep in mind that the technique used by Charles Lamb in this essay, that is stream of consciousness. Next, style. What is the style? The style is dreamy structure. What I've told you, dreamy structure. And last but not the least, what are the romantic qualities used by Charles Lamb or found by Charles Lamb in this essay? Definitely a lucid language. What is lucid language? Very simple language, because he did this essay for the children especially, and even for the ordinary people, for the common people, not for the aristocratic people, because this is after all a romantic essay. Next, portrait of nature. Definitely huge mention, you'll find the huge mentioning of portrait of nature. Next, self realization or self revelation through writing. Because if you look the text, if you read the text, you will find this is not a essay, this is not a description, rather this is a description, this is a personal life of Charles Lamb. Because each and every character used by Charles Lamb was actually the character, the family members of Charles Lamb. Next, subjectivity or individualism. What is subjectivity? Because individuality, because this is a personal problem, personal solution, personal fact. This is known as subjectivity or individualism. So this is all about the introduction portion that you will get find in between this class, and ultimately you all are really wait to listen to the summary portion of the essay Dream Children, a Reverie. What is the summary used by, or what is the summary of this essay? So first, keep in mind that our author is Charles Lamb, and this is a personal description. Actually, Charles Lamb used in this essay his name, or whether it is, this is a first person narrative technique. So Charles Lamb in this essay is James Elia. সুতরাং চার্লস ল্যাম্ব এই ড্রিম চিলড্রেন এই এই যে এসে প্রবন্ধতে তিনি হলেন জেমস এলিয়া। অর্থাৎ আমাদের এই প্রবন্ধে বা এই এসেতে জেমস এলিয়া বলে যিনি আছেন, তাকে আমরা এলিয়া বলে চিনি, তিনি কিন্তু আমাদের গল্পের অথর। দ্যাট মিনস জেমস এলিয়া in reality in this essay is the author, that is Charles Lamb. Next, he has two imaginary children. But in reality he is a bachelor, he has no wife, he has no children, but he's trying to pretend as a father, he's trying to becoming a father. So he has two imaginary children, not real children, imaginary children. জেমস এলিয়া উনি হচ্ছেন চার্লস ল্যাম্ব, আর জেমস এলিয়ার টু ইমাজিনারি চিলড্রেন আছে, ওয়ান ইজ অ্যালিস অ্যান্ড সেকেন্ড ইজ জন। অ্যান্ড অ্যালিস ইজ এ বয় অ্যান্ড জন ইজ এ গার্ল। গেট মাই পয়েন্ট? এবং in the very beginning portion, in the very beginning description of the text, you'll find that Alice and John, two imaginary children, they are interested to listen to stories of fairy tales of grandma, grandpa from definitely John Lamb. Sorry, Mrs. Field. Now the question is, who was Mrs. Field? Mrs. Field in this essay was the grandmother of James Elia, that is Charles Lamb. Mrs. Field was the grandmother of James Elia. Even in this text, you'll find who was Mrs. Field. Mrs. Field was an educated woman, famous lady, and he was respected by by poor and the rich. And such a huge description you find in this text. And he was the owner of the house. And look, such type of description you'll find in this text. And next, the most important thing, that is that James Elia has two brothers. How many brothers you'll find of James Elia? There are two brothers. One is James Lamb and second is Mary Lamb. Please don't get confused that John Lamb was the brother or Sean. Yes, in the name of John Lamb, both. John Lamb is the brother of James Elia, and just simply John is the girl of Elia. I think you have got my point. So John Lamb was favored to, was loved by everyone, because he commented, rather James Elia, the author, he commented that his grandmother, that is Mrs. Field, loved his elder brother John Lamb the more, and he felt sometimes guilty. And when he died, he realized how the gap, the lack of presence of his elder brother. And next, the most important thing, that is Elias or এনসিমন, বিকজ যখন এই আমাদের এলিস এবং জনকে, এই জেমস এলিয়ার আমাদের এলিস এবং জনকে তখন পুরো গল্পটা বলে, then they are not interested to listen to the stories like his grandmother and other stories. They are interested to listen to their mother's story. So now question is, who was the mother of Alice and John, or rather who was the wife of James Elia? Actually, in reality, James Elia was a bachelor. He had no wife. He had a beloved, but he had no wife. So who was the beloved or the would-be wife of James Elia? That is Alice and Simmons. Actually ঘটনাটা কি ঘটেছে না, যে এলিস এন্ড সিমন্স, ওর সাথে আমাদের জেমস এলিয়া বিয়ের কথা ছিল, কারণ তারা লাভার বিলাভেড ছিল। কিন্তু অ্যাট এ পয়েন্ট কি হয় না, আমাদের এই এনসিমনি অন্য একজন পুরুষের সাথে বিয়ে করে নেয়, অ্যান্ড অ্যাজ এ রেজাল্ট তার যে ভালোবাসার যে বিট্রেল, যে কনস্পিরেসির শিকার হয়েছে, সেটাও কিন্তু এই লেখার পিছনে কারণ আমাদের এই এসেটা। তো দিস ইজ দ্য sum of the description, and in the conclusion of the essay we will find how he found his reality. That is, he was a bachelor, he had known imaginary children, that was his imagination, he came into the reality. This is all about the summary portion. If you think this video helped you in understanding the introduction portion, occasion, purpose, themes, subjects, structure, technique, qualities of romantic features, and all details of Charles Lamb, and moreover the summary. So please subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, with your relative, and your other aspirants of on SLST 90, 11, 12. So thank you for today, and for the next day I will directly come into the text.